In a misty jungle clearing long before timekeepers or referees, two teams of burly hominids gather. They grunt and pound their chests, eyes locked on a plump watermelon that serves as their makeshift ball. The air hums with raw energy as these early human-like creatures prepare to clash in a game that echoes the wild roots of rugby. Picture the scene: knuckles drag on damp earth, muscles ripple under coarse fur, and the first whistle, or rather, a sharp hoot, signals the start. These hominids don't play by modern rules. They charge, tackle, and scramble for that juicy prize, turning every ruck into a frenzy of splatters and roars. This commentary dives into that chaotic match, mixing bits of ancient history with plenty of laughs and the pulse of sports action. If you love rugby's grit or quirky tailies from our past, stick around. You'll see how a simple fruit sparks epic battles and maybe even a few tries worth cheering. Meet the teams, grunting giants from the savanna and forest. These hominids split into two fierce squads, each shaped by their home turf. The savanna stompers hail from wide-open plains, where tall, lean bodies help them sprint across hot grass. They wrap vines around their waists for belts and tie broad leaves over shoulders like pads. In warm-ups, they circle with light shoves and quick dodges, practicing bursts of speed to outrun rivals. Across the clearing stand the forest flingers, stocky brutes from thick woods built for power in tight spaces. They fashion leaf capes for armor and twist vines into thick grips for hands. Their prep involves heavy pushes and mock charges, grunts echoing like thunder. Both teams eye the watermelon, that green-striped orb bouncing wild and prone to split on impact. It rolls uneven, sprays juice and tackles, and turns every play into a slippery chase. Old grudges simmer between the groups. Savanna folk tease the forest ones as slow trees, while forest dwellers call the others skinny ghosts. Who will claim the first splatter? The tension builds as they line up, fur bristling, ready to rumble. Savanna stompers, speed demons with a thirst for victory. The stompers thrive on open space, their long limbs perfect for rapid runs. Lead Scout Zip dashes like a gust through tall weeds, eyes sharp for gaps in defense. He snatches the melon mid-bounce and zigs past grabs, leaving opponents in dust. Captain Grunt, a burly sort with a chest like a drum, rallies the pack with booming calls that shake the air. His deep grunt signal shifts, pulling teammates into formation. Their style mirrors the plains. Quick hands and fast passes keep the melon intact longer. No slow huddles here, they spread out using wind-swept legs to circle foes. Picture Zip flipping the fruit sideways to avoid a crush, then sprinting free while Grunt blocks with a shoulder nudge. This evasion game frustrates brute rushes, turning chases into joyful sprints. Fans root for their clever dodges, hopping the thirst for that juicy win stays unquenched. Key players shine in motion. Zip the scout, lightning feet that weave through chaos. Grunt the captain, voice of command, heart of the herd. Dash duo, flank runners, twins who mirror moves, doubling the speed threat. Open lands taught them patience in pursuit, making every try a burst of pure thrill. Forest flingers, powerhouses ready to crush and carry. Deep in shaded groves, the flingers pack muscle for close quarters brawls. Forward bull barrels ahead like a storm, horns of fur framing his charge as he plows lines with raw force. No dodge evades him, he smashes into holds, melon or not, juice flying in arcs. Flankers sly and sneak lurk in scrums, clever eyes spotting weak spots amid the tangle. They burst from piles, snaring the fruit with vine-wrapped fists. Brute power defines their rush, they aim to bulldoze defenses even if the watermelon pops on first contact. Vivid clashes erupt as bull thunders forward, splintering vines and scattering leaves. Sly circles the ruck, then hurls the messy prize overhead in a wild arc. Their energy pulses wild, like roots cracking stone, turning tackles into earth-shaking booms. Standout enforcers drive the frenzy. Bull the forward, unstoppable wall of might. Sly the flanker, shadow striker in the scrum. Sneak the enforcer, quiet power that erupts sudden. Forest life hone their grip for the grind, promising a crush that leaves opponents bruised and the field soaked. The game unfolds, epic plays and watermelon mayhem on the pitch. The hoot echoes through the clearing and the match kicks off with a mighty boot. Bull from the forest flingers launches the watermelon high into the misty air. It arcs like a green comet, then slams down with a wet thud, splitting open on impact and spraying red pulp across the damp earth. Players from both sides scramble, fur matted with juice, as the chase begins in a blur of grunts and grabs. First half frenzy, early scores and sticky surprises. Savanna stompers seize the early momentum. Zip darts left, snatching a chunk of the fruit before Sly can close in. He weaves through outstretched arms, his long legs pumping like pistons on the open plain. Grunt blocks a charge from Sneak, shoulder to shoulder, buying precious seconds for the pass. Forest flingers push back hard. Bull barrels forward in a straight line, plowing past two stompers who slip on the slick grass. The melon remnant bounces wild, rolling toward the try-line amid roars. Sly scoops it up, but Zip intercepts with a swift tackle, sending juice flying in a red mist. Tension builds with close calls. A scrum forms near midfield, bodies piling into a tangled heap that turns into a food fight. Flingers mash the pulp into Stomper's fur while Grunt heaves the mess backward. Laughter mixes with growls as players pause to lick sticky fingers, the game's raw fun shining through. Then comes the pivotal try. Zip breaks free on the wing, dodging Bull's lunge with a spin that leaves the big forward grasping air. He dives over the line, but the watermelon explodes on contact, coating everyone in sweet red pulp. The clearing falls quiet for a beat, then erupts in cheers. Referee-like hoots call a pause. Hominids munch the scattered bits, faces smeared like victorious warriors. Savannah leads 7-0, but Forest eyes burn with hunger for payback. Key moments keep the energy high. Zip's dodge, a blur of speed that sets up the score. Bull's charge, power that nearly evens the tally. Pulp pause, a hilarious break that resets the frenzy. The half ends with Stompers holding slim control, the field a slippery mess of vines and seeds. Second half showdown, comebacks and final pushes. Fatigue creeps in as the second half starts, legs heavy from the juice-soaked sprints. Yet spirits lift with fresh grunts and chest pounds. Forest flingers rally first. A dramatic turnover happens when Sneak strips the ball from Grunt in a ruck, his vine grip unyielding. Intense rucks follow. Bodies slamming in piles that shake the ground. Bull powers through, carrying two Stompers on his back before offloading to Sly. The flanker arcs a pass overhead, the remnant melon sailing true despite the chaos. Laughter rings out as Dash Duo slips on a juice puddle, tumbling into the scrum like a rolling log. Absurdity peaks in equalizing plays. Forest scores when Bull smashes over the line, Pulp exploding again in a shower that blinds the defense. Cheers boom as they tie it up 7-7, teammates piling on in a group hug-turned-munch fest. Teamwork shines, Flingers brute force meshes with Sly passes turning raw power into points. The final push seals the win. With minutes left, Zip sparks a counter but Sly intercepts. In a wild chase, Bull grabs the lead, dodging tackles with surprising agility for his size. He plants the last chunk over the line amid thunderous roars, Forest claiming victory 14-7. Players collapse in heaps, sharing the remaining pulp, bonds forged in the mayhem. Standout surges. Sneak strip, the turnover that flips the script. Bull smash, a try born of pure grit. Group munch, team joy that caps the comeback. The whistle hoots end it, leaving the clearing alive with echoes of this wild rugby roots tale. What makes this hominid rugby clash unforgettable? This hominid rugby match stands out for its raw mix of chaos and connection. Players turned a simple jungle clearing into a stage for wild action where every tackle and pass built something deeper than a score. The watermelon added layers of surprise, rolling in ways no leather ball could match. Highlights like Zip's dodges and Bull's charges show pure instinct at work, reminding us how play strengthens ties. For modern fans, it sparks thoughts on rugby's rough roots, much like how today's scrums forge team spirit amid the mud. Lessons from the jungle pitch, teamwork in the wild. Hominids drew on their instincts to create smart plays that highlighted cooperation. In the first half, Zip's quick pass to Grunt showed how trust in the pack led to breakthroughs. Grunt held off Sneak's rush, giving his teammate room to sprint free. This natural flow came from years of hunting together where one wrong move meant failure for all. Rough games like this built strong groups by testing limits. Forest Flingers proved it in the second half. Bull carried two Stompers on his back before handing off to Sly. That shared effort turned a brute charge into a team win. Resilience shone when players shook off slips on juice-soaked ground and kept pushing. Such clashes mirrored early human hunts where cooperation meant survival. Examples from the match drive the point home. The scrum near midfield became a tangle of bodies, yet they emerged with the melon intact through quick grabs and blocks. Rough play weeded out the weak, leaving bonds that lasted beyond the final hoot. It teaches that true strength comes from leaning on each other in the heat of the moment. The watermelon's star turn, why fruit makes the best ball. The watermelon stole the show with its odd charms that fit this primal game like a glove. Kicks sent it thudding across the field, bouncing wild and unpredictable, far from a smooth rugby ball's path. Players laughed as it veered into bushes, forcing chases that added surprise to every play. Juicy explosions brought refreshment right into the action. When Zip dove for his try, the fruit burst in a red spray, cooling hot fur and sparking a quick snack break. No timeouts needed, everyone paused to munch bits, turning rivals into temporary friends. This chaos kept things fun, unlike stiff modern balls that stay whole through quarters. Humor bubbled up in its quirks. Bull's massive boot once split at midair, raining pulp on the stompers below like a fruity ambush. For a jungle sport, the watermelon's squishy give made tackles less brutal and more playful. It rolled uneven, mimicking real life's twists, and shared snacks during breaks built early bonds through simple joy. This setup fires up fans today. Imagine a pro match with fruit flies instead of set plays. It would loosen things up just as it did for these hominids. In the end, the watermelon tied the game in laughter and unity, proving play's power to connect us all. The hominid rugby match bursts with raw joy and fierce plays that light up the jungle clearing. Zip's quick dashes and Bull's mighty charges create moments full of splatters and cheers, blending ancient instincts with pure fun. The watermelon rolls wild, explodes in juicy bursts, and pulls rivals into shared laughs over sticky snacks. This tale mixes history's rough edges with hilarity, showing how early games built bonds that echo in today's sports. Picture your own crew in a backyard scrum, swapping the fruit for a soft ball to dodge real hurts. Grab friends, mark a simple field, and chase that thrill under the sun. What wild twist would you add to keep the spirit alive? Share your rugby yarns in the comments below. Did a muddy match ever turn into a feast like this? Thanks for joining the frenzy. Let's keep the stories rolling.